What's up, guys? Mickle here. And in the early days of doing this channel, it was a lot of me guessing and forecasting how big industry players were going to step into the cryptocurrency market. But now, as this market has advanced and these big players have started to step in, we get to hear directly from them how the next generation financial system is going to be built. Guys, in this video, I want to share with you exactly how XRP and Ripple fit perfectly into this equation, because a lot of what people hear being talked about by these big financial institutions are privatized projects, things like private ledgers, and a lot of people are worried that these private technologies are going to disrupt public technologies like Ripple and XRP. Guys, in this video, I want to share with you exactly how they all fit together, and you don't have to take my word for it. I want you to listen to the experts themselves. Guys, like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to like these videos and subscribe to the channel. These two things really do mean so much. Also, if you ever need a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange uphold down in the description of this video. With that said, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So guys, I want to start out this video and just show you two clips that I believe is really going to help you understand that the changes we are watching right now to the financial system are not things that we're just imagining or making up. They're happening in real time, and the largest institutions in the world are talking about it. Now, I want people to fully understand one of the reasons why you never hear these large institutions directly talking about using Ripple or XRP, or none of these large institutions coming out and saying, hey, retail, we are using these technologies, is because these technologies are really not meant to be marketed towards people like me and you. What I believe the future financial system is going to look like is a lot like the system we're already using. But the difference is the rails and the underlying plumbing will be made up of much more powerful, much faster, much more efficient technologies. Now, guys, these technologies at a base layer are not things we necessarily interact with as retail. As retail, we do a lot of interaction with just centralized software, banking apps, these kinds of things that will ultimately run on the rails. Now, guys, I think a lot of the big institutions out there fully understand this, and they don't have any need to marketing this infrastructure upgrade to us. They just want to be able to provide us services via the new technology they are implementing. This is very different than a lot of the other cryptocurrency projects out there that are retail focused, things that are focused on getting retail to run to their platforms and experiment with these new tools. Guys, the big institutions see this much, much differently, and they understand things like instant payment protocols like the XRP ledger is going to be used for one day are going to be integrated into their payment stack, and therefore you are just going to use their systems and get the benefits of things like XRP without even knowing you're using the XRP ledger. Now, guys, I believe this is the solution that is going to win out big time. I believe while me and you and people who are watching this channel are crypto enthusiasts and we can figure out the technicalities of these blockchains, your average person is never going to be able to wrap their head around it or handle the things that are necessary in order to properly interact with these systems. And therefore, the approach that is going to win out for the masses is simply interacting with the systems they are already comfortable with and having the blockchain component integrated beneath it. Guys, I want to play you this video to show you that these changes are happening at a rapid clip, and we are already watching the large governments and large banking institutions accept the fact that things like ACH are going to be completely disrupted by real-time payments. Listen up to this.
What's next for your real-time payment system? Andy, what's next for you in Australia?
Well, so I'm at risk with Margaret here, but I've done this with Jane Larimer for Natcha, so I'm confident. For us, it is this discussion about, do you continue to have an ACH system? And that's not, tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we've put a target date out that says we could potentially close down the ACH system in 2030. Now that, if you did my maths earlier, that involves a transition of about $15 trillion worth of payments from ACH to real time. I completely agree with Margaret that you've got to see the value for those payments in moving across and for those use cases. And but we've deliberately put that data out to start that discussion, and particularly with large corporate users, large government users. I think that is important. It's also important then about the capabilities of the modern payment systems in terms of their reach. We're about 90% of accounts in Australia, so there's a remaining 10%. There's questions about capacity when you get to those volumes, resilience, ISO 20022 harmonization becomes important because you've got the cross-border piece in there as well. And crucially, we think the risk to that timeline and the discussion that we want to have is around bulk payments. So things like payroll, large government payments, where the value isn't necessarily the real-time element. The value is the 24/7, 365, or it's the data. But let's start having that discussion, because if you don't, the danger is banks are continuing to invest and where the cost of legacy infrastructure, you're not really adding to the productivity and growth of the economy. So I think it's about having that discussion and moving towards that now.
That last point is key. The banks continue to invest in the legacy infrastructure. He understands that the large banks and the large institutions, the large governments, are not going to be the ones building the rails for the next generation financial system. They are going to be adopting the rails built by the technology providers like Ripple. And he understands things like ACH built on these outdated systems are simply going to go away. We are currently watching technology built out that is going to cause a dramatic upgrade to the very infrastructure things like ACH operate on. And these people at a high level understand that the payment system has not been disrupted in close to 60 years and is poised to be disrupted by a new upcoming technology. Guys, I am still yet to see another technology that can do what cryptocurrencies can do for the financial system. And who has been working with these institutions since day one? Guys, it has been Ripple using the digital asset XRP. This interview is from 2018, and it will just let you know how far ahead of the ball Ripple has been this entire time.
Ripple has announced over 100 customers work with today. And when I see some of these things happen, I think that's not good for the whole industry. Having thoughtful regulation and working with governments. We announced the fact that we're working with the Bank of England as an example. We announced some things we've done with the US Fed and their faster payments task force. We're going to keep working with the system because I think the early days of Bitcoin were all about down with government and down with banks. Ripple has been, look, governments aren't going away, banks aren't going away. Let's work with the system to dramatically improve the way and reduce the friction for how money moves globally. Ripple has announced over.
We are so lucky that Brad Garlinghouse is the CEO of Ripple because he has understood the vision since day one. The banks and governments are not going to be building this infrastructure. The guy said it before. They are investing in legacy infrastructure. Ripple is building the next generation infrastructure, the new rails, the disrupting technology, giving it to the institutions with all the value and saying, okay, here, go use it. And they have always had a realistic approach. This is tweeted out by Chad Steingraber the other day. It is so important to understand and goes to the core of what I wanted to talk about in this video. Banks will not give up privacy. It's actually law. So you all thinking the XRP ledger is going to be used, but it will be public data, are living in a fantasy world. XRP privacy token / private ledgers. And a lot of people see this and get freaked out. They say, oh, private ledgers are going to dominate. The XRP I own is just going to be nothing. There's not going to be a use for the public ledger. It's all going to be private solutions. Guys, banks are going to build out private ledgers. Those private ledgers are going to be great for internal databases or transfers within that institution, or simply for keeping an account of your own finances, things you don't want other people to see. But ultimately, the entire point of the internet is connectivity, being able to connect to different institutions, being able to connect to different applications, being able to connect to different DeFi protocols, being able to connect the entire world together and create a seamless layer of interoperability between all the assets on Earth, all the value. That cannot be created in a walled garden. That cannot be created on a siloed ledger. That needs to be open, decentralized, and permissionless to really create an internet of value or a level playing field. Yes, you are going to have closed repositories attached to this decentralized neutral pool of value flowing in the public internet of value. You are going to have closed walled gardens attached to that where information is siloed and kept secret. Just like we would all want our personal data kept secret. But it doesn't mean that doesn't create in hand a massive application for a public ledger, a public utility, a decentralized internet for value. So in the same exact way we keep certain parts of our personal information private and other things we broadcast to the world via social media, the same is going to be true for the internet of value. It doesn't make sense to say only private solutions are going to win or only public solutions are going to win, because together they are going to work together to create the entire internet of value. Guys, I really hope this helps you understand that the system we are heading into right now is already being built out. The big players already know what's coming. It's inevitable. These technologies need to be upgraded, and Ripple and the XRP ledger have taken the realistic approach since day one to be the dominant infrastructure player in creating this new system. Guys, they are not marketing this system to you. They are marketing it to the institutions, and the institutions have no incentive to tell you what's being built. I have a feeling these things are being built behind the scenes. When they're ready, they will be flipped on. You won't have any idea, because essentially their goal is to make it seem like their application, their front-end software is the thing being upgraded, when realistically it's the rails underneath that only the enthusiasts like you and I are paying attention to from the start. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does mean so much. And for now, Mickle out.